how do you sound more clear and articulate whenever you speak? Well, I'm going to give you 3 key takeaways. The first is to practice this, tongue twisters, but specifically with a pen. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate exactly how this works. You can take any pen, and I want you to put it in between your teeth like this. And as you have the pen in between your teeth, say these 3 tongue twisters. And I'm going to write them down for you. She sells seashells by the seashore. Try saying that. She sells seashells by the seashore. Now, you take the pen, you put it in between your teeth like this, and you say that tongue twister in what we call staccato, where you're breaking up the syllable, putting spaces in between each syllable. So it sounds like this. She sells seashells by the seashore. Now, you then do this in legato, like this. She sells seashells by the seashore. Legato is where in one breath you're able to say it continuously. And then after you've done that, you say it without the pen in your mouth. She sells seashells by the seashore. Now, you do this with 2 other tongue twisters, and the 2 other ones that I love to use are he threw 3 free throws. You do the same thing. Again, staccato with the pen in your mouth, legato with the pen in your mouth, and then without it. He threw 3 free throws. He threw 3 free throws. He threw 3 free throws. And then finally, we do this one. Unique New York. Unique New York. And we say this 3 consecutive times. Again, the pen in between your teeth, staccato and legato, and then without it. Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York, unique New York, unique New York. Unique New York, unique New York, unique New York. And then you say them all consecutively. She sells seashells by the seashore. He threw 3 free throws. Unique New York, unique New York, unique New York. The more you practice this every single day, the more you'll get comfortable opening your mouth, widening it, stretching it, moving your tongue as much as possible as you're pronunciating each word. As you pronounce it, you want to make sure that you're completing each word as you say it. That will make you sound much more clear and crisp. So that's exercise 1, tongue twisters with the pen. The second thing that you can do to be more articulate is to do this exercise. It's called COAT. COAT stands for Controlled Oral Word Association Test. Controlled Oral Word Association Test. The idea is to be articulate, you need to improve your word retrieval process because there's a surface level lexicon and there's a deep level lexicon. The surface level lexicon is the words that you can immediately access like that, no problem, as you're speaking conversational English. The deep level lexicon are the words that might be a bit harder for you to retrieve, but you know when you recognize it. So our goal is to improve our word retrieval process to our surface level lexicon. And how do we do that? Well, we of course can do many things. Read better books, listen to better podcasts, watch better YouTube videos, and pick up on the language of those we admire who we speak. That is going to naturally improve our surface level lexicon. But to actually improve the retrieval process, that's where COAT comes in. So the idea is simple. In 1 minute, I want you to think of as many words that start with a particular letter. So it might be, for example, C. How many words can you think of that start with the letter C? I want you to record yourself. Think of all the words you could say in 1 minute. And then after that minute is up, count how many words you've said. And if you said 18 or more words, that's a really good score. That shows that you're able to retrieve words pretty well. If, however, you're under 18, 12 to 18, even less than 12, work at that. We can work more on that. And you can just practice this every day. It's quite hard. But the one thing you want to make sure you don't do is you don't want to say names, no pronouns, and you don't want to say similar words. So if it were see, you don't want to say care and caring, or perhaps it's cod and cods. When you can practice this exercise over and over again, improve your language inputs as well in parallel, you will improve your word retrieval process. And then whenever you're put on the spot, you'll be able to come up with those words that describe exactly what you want to say. And then finally, the third way that you can sound more clear and articulate is to use frameworks when speaking. Frameworks. This is your way of staying structured. You don't want to ramble. You want to be clear, organized, and compelling. So how do you do this? One of my favorite frameworks, particularly when I'm telling a story, is using what we call PAP. PAP. PAP stands for problem, aggravation, and payoff. Here's an example. Growing up, I always wanted to be an Olympic table tennis player, but I could never get there. It pained me the more and more I trained. I trained 8 hours a day, traveled to China, went to Korea, tried to become my very best, but nothing seemed to work, and I was devastated. I felt like I was a total failure. It wasn't until I realized when I traveled to Bucheon, South Korea, that the people who ultimately were happiest were not the ones who succeeded in table tennis, but rather those who found their calling doing what they loved, that it totally changed my mindset. And to this day, I'm not thinking about winning constantly in everything I do. It's not about the results. For me, it's about, do I even enjoy what I'm doing? And that's changed fundamentally how I look at life today. You can tell your own stories using this framework: problem, aggravation, payoff. The idea is try to articulate it crisply, succinctly, following the framework. You should be able to follow along exactly what was the problem, what was the aggravation, what was the payoff. And you can do this by telling tight 30, 45-second crisp stories. When you can master those three things, the tongue twisters, the co-op, and the storytelling with the framework speaking, you will sound more clear and articulate the next time you speak.